day, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. So, in this lesson, we're going to be looking at the human resources function for business studies grade 12. So, in this video, I'll also be helping you on how to prepare for short questions for your March examination or your March test. So, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like, and also click on that notification button so that you can be notified every time when we upload a new video. So we're going to start by looking at some key concepts under human resources function. So studying the key concepts is going to help you to better understand the topic. And this will also help you when preparing for your exams or for your test, because you find questions that have to do with whatever topic that you're studying under. Or let's say human resources in this case, it can come as an essay question, and it will also come in your short questions. So when you study these key concepts, they are going to help you to answer your short questions. And when you better understand the topic, which is human resources, when it comes as an essay question, you will also be able, or you will also be prepared to answer it. So we're gonna start by explaining what curriculum vitae is, or what your CV is. So a CV is basically a professional document that highlights your academic history, your professional history, your skills, your qualification, or we can say it's a short description of where you've worked, where you went to school, your skills, and also your qualifications. An employment contract. This is an agreement or a term of hire that is extended from an employer to an employee, which sets the terms and conditions of their employment. An external recruitment. This is about filling up a job opening by hiring an appropriate candidate or a person from outside of the company, rather than hiring someone who is already working for the company. And we have what is called an internal recruitment, which is the opposite of external recruitment. And with an internal recruitment, the company or the business hires somebody that is already working in the business, somebody who is already within the company. And it can be through a promotion, it can be through transferring the employees. So the difference between these two is that when it's external, they are taking from outside the business, and internal, they are taking from inside the business. And we have fringe benefits. So these are extra benefits supplementing an employee's money worth or salary. For example, this can be a company car, it can be private health care. So this is an addition to the employee's salary. We have what's called an induction. So an induction is a process of welcoming newly recruited employees and supporting them to adjust to their new roles and working environments. So basically, an internal recruitment is when the company hires somebody that is already working within that company or in that business. An interview is basically a formal meeting where information is exchanged between the interviewer and the interviewee, which we can say is a question and answer session where one person asks questions and the other person answers those questions. An interviewer is an applicant or a candidate that answers the questions during the interview. An interviewer is someone who conducts an interview, or we can say it's the person responsible for asking questions during the interview. Job analysis. So, in order to understand what job analysis is, you need to understand what analysis is. So, basically, when we speak about analyzing, we're speaking about the act of studying or examining something in detail. And this is in order to discover or to understand more about it. So in job analysis, during the recruitment process, Job analysis is conducted so that the company knows exactly the kind of a person they need to hire, the skills the person needs to have, and the qualifications that the person needs to have in order to fill that position. So, job analysis is basically the process of identifying the best person for the job. And this is crucial because understanding the nature of the job is very important before you can come up with suggestions of what kind of a person you need for the job and the qualifications the person needs to have. Job description. This is a written explanation that outlines the essential responsibilities and requirements for a vacant position. So we can basically say it describes duties and responsibilities of a specific job. Job specification. This is a list that defines the skills and qualities that a company requires for the position. Placement. This is a step wherein the employee is given the activities he or she needs to perform and is told about his or her duties. So, placement is usually followed by the orientation process. Preliminary interview. This is the first step of the interview process. So, usually the hiring managers use it to screen candidates and decide who will move to the next step of the hiring process. Recruitment. Recruitment is the process used by a business to identify certain vacancies in the business and attract suitable candidates for it. Selection. This refers to the steps involved in choosing someone who has the right qualification to fill a job opening. The selection procedure. This is the process that needs to be followed before appointments are made. So we're going to be looking at the human resources activities, which is recruitment, selection, induction, placement, salary determination, and fringe benefits. So this goes in order. You cannot do induction without doing recruitment and selection first. You cannot do salary determination without doing recruitment, selection, induction. So it basically goes in order. So recruitment is the process used by a business to identify certain vacancies in the business and to attract suitable candidates for them. A business may choose to use an internal or external method of recruitment. So we said that when a business is hiring from inside the business, it's called an internal recruitment. And when a business is hiring from outside, it's called an external method of recruitment. So it depends on the type of a job or a vacant post which needs to be filled, that a business will have to decide whether they are taking somebody that is already in the business, somebody who already knows the systems and the culture of the business, or they need someone from outside. For example, you might find that the people that are already in the business, they do not have the skills that is required for that job that should be filled. So the business can then decide that, you know what, we're going to find someone outside of the business to come and fill this position. The method they choose will depend on the nature and requirements of the vacancy. So recruitment is an ongoing process because employees leave their jobs for other jobs, they achieve promotions, they get retired, and new technological skills are required. The recruitment process is ongoing because some employees may leave, some can get promoted, some can get retired. So the business needs to fill the positions. And there can even be a need for a person with skills that the people in the business do not have, which means that the business need to find someone from outside to come and fill that position. So if somebody leaves the company, the position they were having needs to be filled, which means that there will always be a need for a recruitment. It begins with the process of actively seeking out or finding candidates for vacancies to the successful integration of the candidate into the business. Moving on to recruitment procedure. The human resources manager should evaluate the job or prepare a job analysis that includes the job specification and job description in order to identify recruitment needs. Remember, we said that a job analysis examines and studies in order to know who will be the perfect fit for the job, which means that the recruitment or the human resources manager needs to conduct a job analysis in order to find the best candidate for the job. The human resource manager should identify the job specification and key performance areas to attract suitable candidates. They need to choose the method of recruitment, which depends on the kind or the nature of the job that needs to be filled or the nature of the vacancy that needs to be filled. If external recruitment is chosen, the relevant recruitment sources should be selected. For example, recruitment agencies, tertiary institutions, newspapers, electronic media. So when now the company decide that we are going to recruit from outside the company, they need then to decide how they're going to advertise or how they're going to get the message out there and how they're going to find the suitable candidates that they are looking for. Job analysis. This is a tool used by human resources function to source and analyze information about the business workforce. This information is then used to place and recruit the right person in the right job. A job analysis consists of a job description and job specification. The employer must be clear about the nature and the type of job a potential employee will need to perform so that an appropriate job description and job specification can be prepared. So now we're going to look at the difference between a job description and job specification. So mainly the difference between the job description and the job specification is that a job description describes the job itself, while the job specification details skills and traits needed to successfully perform the job. So job description describes duties and responsibilities of a specific job, and job specification describes the minimum acceptable personal qualities, skills, qualifications needed for the job. A job description is a written description of the job, its requirements, a summary of the nature and the type of a job, and a job specification is a written description of specific qualifications, skills, and experience needed for the job. A job description describes key performance areas for a specific job, for example, job title, duties, working conditions, locations of the job, or locations of the work or relationship of the job with other jobs in the business. And a job specification describes the key requirements for the person who will fill the position. For example, formal qualifications, willingness to travel, work unusual hours. And now we're going to look at the methods of recruitment, which is internal recruitment and external recruitment. And internal recruitment, we said, is the process of sourcing potential candidates for certain available posts from within the business. And an external recruitment is the process of sourcing potential candidates for certain available posts from outside the business. Now we're going to look at the internal recruitment. We are going to look at the sources of internal recruitment, of recruiting from inside the business. Sources of internal recruitment. These are things that a company uses in order to recruit from inside the business, from the people that already work for them. So they can use the emails, they can use the company website, they can use a word of mouth, just telling people maybe during a meeting to say there is this position that is open. If you have the right qualifications, please bring your documents. And they can use business news letters and circulars to staff. They can use internal or management referrals where your manager will refer you to say, I have this kind of a person. I believe they can do the job. They have the qualifications, they have the skills, and they take it from there. It can be through an office notice board, it can be internal bulletins, it can be recommendation of current employees, it can be headhunting within the business or organizational database. So now we're going to be looking at the impact of internal recruitment, of recruiting within the business. The business can recruit employees through promotions, and this will definitely motivate the employees because you cannot be working for a company for a long time and there is no promotion. You'll be demotivated, and you can even leave the company if you see that there is no progress, there is no hope. So at least when employees are being promoted, they become even more committed and they grow and they even work more harder. Opportunities for promotion rewards good work and motivate current employees. Reliable and key staff members are retained if they are promoted. So even other people, when they see that in this company, hey, there is growth, we are being promoted, they stay and they work even harder because they know that there is growth in that business. Staff morale and productivity increases if suitable staff members are promoted regularly. Current employees understand the operations and functions of the business. So another positive thing about hiring from inside is that you are hiring people that are already familiar with the systems and the culture of the business. So it becomes easy for them to perform the job. The recruitment process is faster and less expensive if the candidates are known to the business. And we have the negatives or the disadvantages of recruiting from inside the business. And that is that current employees may not bring new ideas into the business, which means that there will be limited generation of ideas. Promoting a current employee may cause resentment against existing or other employees, where you find that someone will be like, I've been working here for 5 years and I've never been promoted. This guy or this lady just arrived here. She doesn't even have a year, or she doesn't have 2 years working here, but she's already promoted, which will cause other employees to quarrel or to be unhappy. The number of applicants is limited to current staff only, which means that the pool of applicants is very limited. Employees who do not have required skills for the job may be promoted. So if a company is only focusing on employing from inside, they will end up employing someone who does not really meet all the necessary requirements or the needs for the job, simply because they do not want to go and find somebody who has the skills and the qualifications to do that job outside. Current employees may need to be trained or developed before they can be promoted. So if you find that the person or the people who are already in the business do not know the job or have never done that certain job, they may need to be trained, which is going to be time consuming, and it's also going to be costly for the business. Employees who are not promoted may feel demoted, which may hamper productivity and reduce morale. Sources for external recruitment. So when a company is recruiting from outside, it needs to decide on which sources it's going to use. Is it going to use printed media, for example, newspapers, flyers, magazine? Are they going to use electronic media, which is radio and TV? Are they going to use social media? Are they going to use recruitment agencies to find people or to find them suitable people for the vacancy? Are they going to do walk-ins or are they going to do headhunting? So headhunting is an activity of identifying and approaching suitable people employed elsewhere, which means that the business is going to look for people that are already working for other companies to come and work for them. Are they going to use professional associations? Are they going to use networking? Or are they going to use academic and training institutions to find the best candidate to fill the position? Are they going to use posters or billboard just outside the business? And we have the positives and negatives of recruiting from outside. The positives, the first one is that new candidates bring new talents. They bring new ideas. They bring experiences. They bring skills. They bring knowledge into the business. So when a business hires from outside, it will be able to meet affirmative action. This means that the business will be able to um, hire people that are misrepresented in the business. For example, let's say the business has more males than females. So when they are hiring from outside, they'll be able to add to know that the person that we are looking for, it should be a female with these skills, so that we don't have more males than females in the business. And it will also be able to meet the EEA, which is Employment Equity Act, and the broad-based Black economic empowerment targets. There is a larger pool of candidates from which to choose from. Unlike when the business is hiring from inside, it means that it's limited to the people that are already in the business. But if they are going outside, there are more candidates with more skills and experiences. There is a better chance of getting suitable candidates with the required skills, qualifications, competencies, experience, who do not need much training and development, which could reduce costs. Hiring from outside may minimize unhappiness or conflicts among current or existing employees who may have applied for the post. So when you're hiring from inside, you find that everybody has applied for the post and only one person is chosen. The other ones may have a problem. So when you're hiring from outside, at least people will still be happy. Overall efficiency and productivity may occur if the new worker actively adds value to the business. Now we're going to be looking at the negatives or the disadvantages of hiring from outside the business. External sources can be expensive. For example, recruitment agencies' fees, advertisement in newspapers and magazines can be costly. The selection process may result in incompetent candidate being chosen. The information on the CVs may not be reliable and may be falseful. So the company might end up hiring somebody who does not really have the skills that they are looking for. The recruitment process takes longer and is more time consuming and expensive as background checks must be conducted. New candidates generally take longer to adjust to new work environments. And also, in-service training may be needed, which decreases productivity during the time of training and increases costs of the business. And lastly, many unsuitable applications may slow down the selection process. So you know that when a job is being advertised, even people who do not have the qualifications or the skills or the requirements that are needed may still apply, which may slow down the selection process. So now we're going to be looking at selection. So we are done with recruitment. After recruitment has been done, we move on to selection, where the business has to select the best candidate for the job. Selection is about choosing a qualified candidate or applicant for an available post based on the requirements of the job analysis. The selection procedure, this is the process that needs to be followed before appointments are made. Selection procedure, we have option 1 and option 2 when conducting selection procedure. With option 1, it determines fair assessment criteria on which selection will be based. It uses the assessment criteria to assess all CVs and application forms received during recruitment. It conducts preliminary screening, which is sorting the applications received according to the criteria for the job. It checks that applicants are not submitting false documents such as forged certificates, degrees, and achievements. It also makes a preliminary list of applicants who qualify for the post. It screens and checks references, for example, check applicants' criminal records, credit history, and social media. So you must be careful on social media. Things you post can actually affect the job that you or your profession. It conducts preliminary interviews to identify suitable applicants, informs all applicants about the outcome of the application. It compiles a short list of appropriately 5 candidates. It invites the shortlisted candidates or applicants for an interview. Shortlisted candidates may be subjected to various types of selection tests, for example, skills tests. Once candidates have been selected, a written offer is made for them. And we have option 2. In option 2, it receives documentation, for example, application forms, and sort it according to the criteria of the job. It evaluates CVs and create a short list or screen for applicants. Checks information in the CVs and contact references. It conducts preliminary interviews to identify candidates or applicants who are not suitable for the job, even though they meet the requirements. So you might find that the person meets the requirement, they have the right qualification, they have whatever that is needed, but then the person does not have good communication skills, and the job that they are supposed to fill needs somebody with good communication skills. Therefore, that person will not be chosen because they might not be suitable for that job, regardless of the fact that they meet the requirements. It assesses and tests candidates who have applied for senior positions to ensure that the best candidate is chosen. It conducts interviews with shortlisted candidates, and a written employment offer is made to the selected candidates. A selection process, we're going to be looking at the screening as part of the selection process. So in screening first, they check application documents of candidates or applicants against the requirements of the job, which means that they compare your CV with what is required with the person they are looking for, whether you have the qualifications they need, whether you have the skills they need, whether you have the experience they are looking for. And from there, they check the candidates or applicants who meet the minimum requirements and then separate them from others. After separating candidates, they go to step number 3, which is to perform a background check on applicants who qualify for the job. From there, they prepare a short list of suitable candidates after screening. Thank you so much for watching. We'll continue with the human resources function in part 2. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and also click on that notification button so that it can be notified every time when we upload a new video. See you in part 2 of human resources function.